I hugely enjoyed the clip you're about to see.
Outstanding, actually, that the Labour government again has sold off something that belongs to the British people.
It hasn't changed the sovereignty of Gibraltar.
No, it's anti-British. It's just another thing and it's another episode in a series of anti-British moves by David Lammy. And I think that it's completely anti-democratic. You're not asking the people of Gibraltar what they want. I think it insults
Although the
Brexit
Chief Minister of
voters.
Gibraltar has agreed this.
It's anti-democratic. We haven't asked the people of Gibraltar how they feel about it. I think it insults Brexit voters, northern voters of this country, and I think it insults the people of Gibraltar. I think this deal is outrageous, and I think that this is something that has to be overturned.
Alex?
I mean, I find those comments outrageous. Of course, the democratically elected Chief Minister of Gibraltar is fully supportive of the deal. We're only here because nearly 10 years after Brexit was voted for, the Conservatives were unable to get a sensible deal over the line that was suitable for the people of Gibraltar. All this does is improve the border crossing point that was at risk of being closed, by the way, and would have cost hundreds of millions of pounds of British taxpayers' money had it been closed. All it does is improve checks there that are quite similar to what you get on the Eurostar. So if you're going from England to Paris, for example, or to Brussels, and you get the checks between the French and UK people together, that's all it's doing.
Lucy, it's similar
I think it's another sellout. It's another sellout by the Labour Party. What you want to do is realign us so closely with the EU.
This isn't
once
the Battle
again.
of Trafalgar.
It's
Spain is an ally. This is what the people of Gibraltar
want. I'm not saying it's
want.
the Battle of Trafalgar. I'm saying that it's anti-democratic. And I'm saying that what you've done is that you're trying to realign as best you can with us to the EU, which is absolutely what the general public did not want. They voted against it, and you are doing the complete opposite and slowly tinkering away and giving away parts of our country, parts of the world that we live in. You are basically dismantling everything that people voted for back in 2000.
So the government respects the Brexit vote in 2016. What the British public want now is a sensible, practical relationship with the EU that is good for their prosperity, enables them to travel, and helps people out that live in places like Gibraltar that have been put in a really difficult situation by this vote. That's all we're doing. It's a sensible agreement.
The Labour Party gave away the Chagos Islands.
People of Gibraltar.
You're now doing this with Gibraltar. You are doing it consecutively. I don't think the Labour Party is very pro-British.
I suggest you speak to the people of Gibraltar and ask them.
I suggest you do that.
And you see both of those arguments laid bare. The gentleman from the Labour Party believes in a version of internationalism. The lady, the Tory lady on the right there, believes in Britishness in the nation state. And these are the two opposing arguments. The gentleman on the left there believes that if we're going to make a teeny bit more money and everyone's lives are allegedly going to be a little bit better and, we'll be closer to Europe as well, then that's brilliant. And why wouldn't everybody want the same thing as me? And, I'm going to cap all of that off with a little joke as I flick my eyes towards the presenter with a clever little smile when I say that this isn't the Battle of Trafalgar, This is the type of strategy employed by people on the left as they attempt to shame you into an argument using their obvious moral superiority, as this man has, on full display with which to sway your opinion, but as you should do if you're ever arguing with people of this nature, because there's nothing behind their arguments. She just walked over the top of it. And she just asked some very blunt questions. You've given away the Chagos, you've given away Gibraltar now. You're just not very British, are you? And I think that's a fair enough thing to say, because the Labour Party aren't very British, are they? He doesn't really attempt to defend that accusation. And, this knowing smile here with the lady and the other smile coming from the gentleman as they reach an impasse, I think perfectly sums up how people feel about this in the modern day. There are two sets of people. There are a group of people who believe we can do something, we can be a great country to live in. And there's another set of people who just want to be part of the world and are internationalists and call themselves European. And these are just two different mindsets, and it's very difficult to see how these different opposing viewpoints are ever going to come together in any kind of meaningful dialogue. It's intractable. It's an impasse. We can't go beyond this point without something breaking, because that's the nature and the structure of the argument. it's not something that I believe in. I don't believe we should be tightly integrated with Europe. I think it's a profoundly bad idea. But many people believe, as that gentleman did, that it was a profoundly good idea. And there's no way for either of us to convince the other that they're right. And this is the problem with these types of arguments. And it's also obviously one of the reasons why the Brexit debate was so divisive for our country, was because it actually gets to the core of where you want your country to go. And it filters through all of the arguments, not just about, laws, trade and money, but also about culture. And these are deep arguments, and very, very difficult to see how we're ever going to be able to solve this outside of how many people think I'm right and how many people think he's right. And it appears like at the last election, many people thought he was right, for whatever reason that is. Anyway, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.